So the trade war between the U.S. and China is only escalating. This morning, China announced it's raising tariffs on U.S. goods to 125%, while the U.S. is digging in its heels. Now, the White House revealed yesterday that imported Chinese goods now face a total tariff of 145%. Chinese leader Xi Jinping met with Spain's prime minister today and called on the EU to stand with Beijing. Chinese state media says Xi wants the bloc to reject unilateral bullying from the U.S. And of course, as you've seen, this back and forth has led to volatility in the markets. This is how the Dow performed over the past week. You see, last Friday, it lost more than 2,000 points. This week, you see things have been in flux, down Monday and Tuesday, up Wednesday, and another drop yesterday. Meanwhile, President Trump has been trying to quell concerns while pointing the finger of blame at other nations.
There'll be a transition cost and transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing. We're doing again what we should have done many years ago. We let it get out of control, and we allowed some countries to get very big and very rich at our expense.
We've got team coverage on this for you this morning. Emily Peck is from Axios and following market sentiment for us. But let's begin with our own Natalie Brand at the White House. Natalie, good morning to you. President Trump seeming confident during that cabinet meeting yesterday, but China saying it will fight to the end as it raises tariffs to 125%. So what is the administration saying about this publicly and behind the scenes?
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what the White House's official statement on this new escalation is. But that 125% tariff by China takes effect Saturday. Although I want to point out, while China says it will fight to the end, it's also signaling that it may not impose additional levies. In a statement, it says at the current tariff level, U.S. exports to China have no viable market. So if the U.S. continues to impose additional tariffs on Chinese exports, China will no longer respond. Though it goes on to say that the U.S. alternately raising abnormally high tariffs on China has become a numbers game which has no practical economic significance and will become a, quote, joke in the history of the world economy. If the U.S. insists on continuing to infringe on Chinese interests, China will resolutely counter and fight to the end. So a lot to unpack in that statement as this kind of tit for tat continues, though we'll have to see how the numbers play out. It is important to note that President Trump has said that he, is waiting for this call from China, that he wants to make a deal. He's also said that he has great respect for Chinese President Xi. The question becomes, when do these leaders actually speak over the phone, communicate, and try to de-escalate these trade tensions?
That's right, Natalie. And while the tension seems to be escalating with China, is there any progress being made with other nations since Trump eliminated the tariffs against those?
Yeah, the White House has said that around 15 countries have made explicit offers to the United States that they are potentially close to trade deals, that these deals are under review, although we don't have exact details or a list of those countries. But we do know that the Treasury Secretary will be meeting with Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister. Trade advisor Pito Navarro yesterday also listed countries including India, Australia, the UK, the EU, Japan, South Korea, saying that they are all coming in. As we know, the White House has said more than 70 countries have called the United States wanting to strike a deal. But the process ahead, remains pretty intense if you think about all these deals needing to come together within just 3 months. That's the period of the pause on the president's announced reciprocal tariffs. And economic advisor Kevin Hassett said just yesterday that they were having a meeting yesterday to discuss the process ahead. So a lot of details remain to be seen here. And the president saying that if he doesn't get the deals he wants after this 90-day pause, then the tariffs will go back on.
All right. Thanks for setting that all up for us, Natalie Brand at the White House.